Hi, we are 2 for 2 today. If you have not watched a previous episode, go find it. It is the one that looks like I'm wearing this. I'll probably put like one or something. I don't know. But we are here on day 14 again from the 21-day fast. We are doing it in partnership with, well, not partnership because I don't want to like affiliate them. But we are doing it alongside Revival Today Ministries as well as with Dr. Jolynn Whitaker Ministries. Follow them and you can learn from them. But I am doing this video because when I was going through the hell I went through, where I found myself as a single mom, in the process of divorce, living with family in a tiny room with 3 little girls under 3. That was hard, but I'm going to tell you what I did and what God did and what changed everything for me so that you could do the same. And this is in regards to housing. So, first and foremost, I am a real estate agent. This is not real estate advice. This is spiritual building advice that I did. And you can do that if you want to. And if you see me messing with the mic is because sometimes it won't do it anymore. But anyway. So when I was in that season, we were staying in a little in a room with a family, and it was my 3 daughters. I think my oldest was 3, my middle child was 2, and my baby was like just born. So we moved out of our family home and we went to live with my aunt at the time temporarily. We were there for a little over a year, literally like some days. And it was a really interesting time because I was a real estate agent who was homeless, and that was embarrassing to me. Not only that, because I didn't honestly until perhaps it's a story for another time, but until this happened to me, I didn't know that there was sin in the church. I know that sounds dumb, but it's true. I didn't know, and I know it seems dumb. I think about it, I'm just like, how did I not know? But that's how much. See, the devil will have you be ignorant or so caught up in your life that you don't know, and you become just like this like numb, paralyzed thing that you're just useless. But so when we were homeless, we weren't homeless. We were just living with family, but we didn't have our own home. And because I had just had a kid, no one would hire me. I managed to get a job. By me, I meant God gave me a job. I got a job. And my baby was 1 month old when I had to go back to work and all of that. But what ended up happening is I got a job. I was providing somewhat. I did pay rent. I had like responsibilities and finances and stuff like that. And I had to get a car. So because I was commuting out of the city, so out of town. I was like driving an hour there and an hour back. And my babysitter was driving an hour there and an hour back, which was all fun and dandy for us. Anyway, we found ourselves in this situation. We were without a home of our own. I had 3 kids in 1 bedroom, breastfeeding, going to work. It wasn't working out. And, you know, as a real estate agent and me being who I am, I exhausted every resource at my disposal. And that included applying for what's called a USDA loan. And this one is a special loan. I didn't even know they existed, guys. Like, most real estate agents aren't familiar with every loan type because that is not what we do. We sell houses, not loans. And so I found this loan that was specifically for my situation type. So what the devil meant for evil, the Lord used it for good, because the very thing that was like feeling like was killing me, right? The very thing that I feared would happen, which was I would get divorced or separated and be like on my own with 3 kids and blah. That very thing was the very thing that caused me to be approved for a loan like this, or so I thought. So what happened was I applied, and I basically was like, this is the information. I'm representing myself. I've never done this. Can you guys help me out? And they said, oh, yeah. Fill this out this way. Paid my little $25 application fee. And then they said, yeah, you don't qualify. And I was like, what? They're like, no, you don't qualify. And I wasn't on benefits because I was working. So we have an awesome system where you can be on the welfare if you don't work as much. But as soon as you start working and you make just above like a certain threshold, they'll take you out. So it's like a perfect way to like stay poor. It's a real genius way. But what ended up happening was, I just kind of like gave up, and the Lord was ministering to me through all of that, because I was just like dealing with the whole pride issue of like, God, how the heck is this real? Like, I'm a real estate agent. I should not be homeless. And I didn't have anyone who could co-sign for me. I didn't even have a stinking down payment. I didn't have anything. And I literally had nothing. And I was just like, I kept hearing the Lord say, you're going to buy. And I was like, God, it does not make sense. Like, no door is opening for me to even rent. How the heck am I going to get a home? Like, I've just been denied through this thing. This was the thing. If I was going to get a loan, it was going to be this, because my credit was jacked. I had just like started this job, so I didn't have enough of that. But God was saying like, trust. And he was leading me onto YouTube to watch testimonies of people getting homes. People just like getting homes. And I was like, why am I like, that's stupid. That's like going. First thing you got to learn is to shush your mouth. When the Lord says to do something, don't talk back. You don't like your baby talking back to you? Do not talk back to the Lord. So I went on YouTube and I found videos like this one that I'm doing right now. And you know what it did? It built my faith up. What do we do when we speak? We speak in tongues. We build our spirit man up. And that's what needed to happen. Because what? Because faith is a currency. I needed the faith to go to the bank and say, God, you said cash this check. Here it is. And expecting it not to bounce. So I don't mean to yell. I'm just getting a little bit fired up because screw the devil, right? Anyway. Coconut water, original. Anyway, I went on YouTube and I found videos day after night. Every time at night, I would have like long, like cluster feed, I think they're called. I would cluster feed my baby. I would be online and and I would just watch videos on my break. And at work, I would just watch videos of testimonies of people getting their house. And I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna do it. Didn't know how, because everything in the real estate realm said it ain't working out. Everything in my financial background said it ain't working out. And my loan applicant person said it ain't working out. So I was a little bit confused, but my faith was too high. Like, he had been building my faith up. So I was like, God, you've done it for them. And you said that you're not a respecter of people. So how will you do for one, you could do for another? And, and so what was happening? So I was building my faith up, and I decided. I had set my faith up, and I decided I'm not going to rent. I'm going to buy. And everyone and their mom was like, you need to rent, you need to rent, you need to rent. And at first, before I decided that, no stinking doors were opening for renting. Nothing. I've exhausted everything. If you know me, you know that's true. And then all of a sudden, when I decided I was going to buy, every stinking door for renting was opening up. Because guess what? If you have a word from the Lord, you contend for that word until that door opens. Because the enemy will have you, he'll have you agree with a halfway counterfeit before he wants you to hold on to what God says you can have. So, thankfully, by the grace of God, I call them moments of grace, where he allows me to see something for what it truly is and act differently. So, after the doors for renting started opening up, I was just like, nope, sorry, no thank you. Nope, I'm going to buy. How are you going to buy? That's stupid. You don't even have a deposit. I'm going to buy. The Lord said I'm going to buy. So I'm going to buy. And then once I started sharing that with people thought I was stupid and crazy. And then the Lord said, stop telling people. So then I stopped telling people. And when they asked me questions, I would say, yep, we're in the process of doing this. Oh, really? Great. I didn't know you got approved. Neither did I. And I was at work. I got a call from this unknown number. And this gal, she calls me. She's like, hi, I'm so-and-so from USDA rural, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hi. She was like, oh, your application, I see it here on my desk, and you didn't complete it. And I think I rolled my eyes. I was like, ugh, this newbie. And she said, would you fill it out? And I was like, yeah, sure thing, whatever. And I hung up the phone, and I was just like, that's dumb. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. This girl's clearly new. She doesn't know that I've already been rejected. And in my spirit, the Lord said, try again. And I was like, God, this was before the whole, don't talk back revelation. Don't be a back talker. And I was like, God, am I going to get my feelings hurt? Because you know how long the application is. You know what I've already had to do. He said, try again, and this time we're going to fill the application out together. I'm like, okay. It isn't as a dove, shrewd as a snake. He's going to give you the insight. It says that he will tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it. Right? So, God is so good. And she called me back. She's like, hey, we still haven't received it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to submit that to you. And then she's like, okay, you have 3 days. I leave in 3 days for a week or 2. And if you do not submit it, this and that. And I was like, okay, this lady, interesting. She's talking to me like she runs the place. But I was just like, this clearly she doesn't, because she doesn't know, right? She doesn't know that I've already been denied. Anyway, probably should not drink matcha right now. Anyway, I fill out the application. I submit it to her before the 3 days are over. I think I submitted it to her on Wednesday. On Wednesday. And by Friday, I had my letter of approval. And then when she sends it to me, you know what she told me? I'm the head of California, USDA, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? Because guess what? He's not working with the same limitations that we are working with. Because he created the whole world. And if he has to put your application at the very top of the pile, if he has to make your application go from one desk to another, he will. I don't even think I had to pay the extra $25. I don't remember that. But what I mean by that, and you're probably wondering, EC's okay, that's great. There's resources out there, that's great. It's not the first time that has happened, and it's not the last time, and I'm not the only one that has happened. Go continue to look at other videos of people's testimonies. Build your faith up. Build your spirit man up, because faith is the commodity. Faith is the currency. Faith without works is dead. But guess what? You need the faith to activate that. You need something to show up and be like, actually, you said if I believe it, I can have it. And if I ask for it, it's mine. So, Anyway, got my approval, got my house. And guess what? You know what the cool part is? Another cool part. The seller, he pretty much paid for everything, right? Perks of having a great agent. But also, you know what happened? Someone gifted me so with USDA, you don't have to have a down payment, but you do have to have an EMD, which is an earnest money deposit, and you have to submit it 3 days after your offer is accepted. I didn't have that. Some friends said, hey, we'll let you borrow the money. But again, real gutsy situation. The Lord had told me that I'm not a borrower, which I thought was really interesting for the season that I was in. He said, you're not a borrower. So when they said, we'll let you borrow the money, I had less than 3 days. So I had been in escrow for something else. And then this is the house that I'm talking about, is this one. Because we fell out of escrow with the other one. But for this house, I had, well, the earnest money came from the other house. And I had less than 2 days to come up with the money. I had some friends said, hey, we'll let you borrow it. And I heard the Lord say, I did not call you to borrow it. Tell them no thank you. And I was like, God, okay. And then someone else had offered to let me borrow it. 2 people, that they would split it and then let me borrow it. And I was like, hey gals, it was my sisters. I love my sisters. That wasn't always the case, but the ride or dies. My sisters, they said that. I was like, yo, like, appreciate it, but I'm not gonna borrow it. And they're like, you're dumb, take the money. Like, and I was like, no, real sisterly. I'm glad that God's healed our relationship, because we could make jokes like that. I wasn't able to back in the day. Anyway, I said no thank you, and then some other friends said, hey, we'll let you borrow it. And I said, hey, I know this sounds dumb, but the Lord said I can't borrow it. I'm not a borrower, I'm a lender. And I thought they were gonna think I'm the craziest person ever. And then they said, oh, okay, well then you can have it. And that was like the first time anyone has ever given me that much money. Just, here you go, yeah. Which is why I want to be like that. Which is why I need to have that, so I too can do that for people. That's why we need to have money, so that we can also be a blessing. So we can house people. So we can put people in houses and they're not having to go to the shelter with 3 babies. Like, so we can be the hands and feet of Jesus, and we're not having to be like, well, let me pray about it. Yeah, pray about it, but like, you can't leave someone sleeping in their car. Like, I don't know. That's another story for another day. But I think keep encouraging yourself in the faith. I think God is doing so many amazing things right now. And I just want to encourage you, because whatever you have need of, if it's in the Bible, it belongs to you. Why is it okay for these wicked people to live in mansions, have airplanes, and do all this disgusting thing where children are literally being sold and used and abused, and wives are being cheated on? Like, why? Why is it okay for them to have him? Why? Why can't you have a big old 500, 800 acres of just land, open space, and properties where you can host, where you can house single moms, when you can equip and build them? Why not you? See, this house that you're contending for is more than just for you. It's going to provide a safe place for your children, for you, your children, because you need a peaceful place to rest. Because the enemy will have you just striving and unrested and in lack and in fear and blah, 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 blah. You take what's yours. Don't leave anything on the table. Keep contending. Keep building up your faith. And not just for a house, for whatever you have need of, for a car, miracle cars. Hey, whatever you have need of, build yourself in the Lord. You're praying for restoration in your marriage. Watch videos. Yo, I did that. Watch videos. Encourage yourself in the faith and see. When you petition the courts of heaven and say, Father, I've seen you do it. Your word says that you're not a man that you should lie. What do I need to do to get that house? Start looking at homes. What's your home style? What neighborhood are you looking at? Is there anything in that neighborhood? Are you okay with just being out in the city or the country? What are you looking for? What are you contending for? Get detailed. Write your vision, make it plain. Right? Because if someone came and asked you, how much do you need? Do you have a number? Do you know how much the EMD would cost? Have a number, get detailed. Start working with an agent. Agents are creative. They know. They know if you're looking just for a rental, if you're looking for buy, whatever it is. Get connected with the professionals in that industry. Believe, contend, and be very, very blessed. God bless you. I'm encouraged, and I want to encourage you to put your faith out for something far out. Drop a comment of your testimony of when and how you get your house and where you got it and how it happened, and Make your own video, tag me, and I am so excited to hear your testimony. God bless you. Bye. Mwah.